Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special figure showcase and review we're going to be looking at the 1986 Autobot triple changer Sandstorm. So what we're going to do with this video, we're going to have a detailed look at him in all of his modes to help you decide how you want to display him. Because he's a vintage toy, I'm going to point out some things that you need to be aware of if you have to purchase one for yourself. I'll show you the accessories that come with him and the other little parts as well that could perhaps be missing. I'm lucky enough to have a couple of different types of packaging, so I can show you the differences between the artwork and the languages on that. And just for a bit of fun, we'll show you some other figures not to get him confused with, because obviously they share the same name. And of course, we've got a newer version of him, which we can also have a look at and see how he displays and has improved as well. Okay, as you can see, lots to get through with this particular review, and I'd like to remind anybody, if they're not subscribed to this channel, if they'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please. So you may notice that there's two robot modes, and basically this is because there are two variants. This unfortunate, heavily battered and incredibly play-worn figure is the first release, and the reason why you can tell is because he's got die-cast feet. So all the first releases of this figure in 1986 did have die-cast parts, a little bit like Cup had metal wheels, and of course Rodimus, Hot Rod, etc. had metal toes, a bit like this. This is just the same. Then obviously, as a cost-cutting exercise, they reduced the costs and made them plastic. Things to be aware of, and again, this is a brilliant example. So this is missing the top tail fin there at the side, which you can see. The blades at the back are all really bent as well, which I'll show you in a second. And of course you can see that there is unfortunately really bad sticker damage. Now he might have the other, yes he does, this is the other and most common problem with Sandstorms. It's these joints here. They do not always, especially when they've been played with a lot, hold the weight of the upper body, so the torso will just drop down like that. It's very, very common, unfortunately, and it does happen with lots of them. I'm going to keep him there just like that though, so you can well, there you go, exactly, that's exactly what he does. But let's have a look at the better conditioned one in robot mode. So it's a great figure. I know it's super basic, but if you want a figure that looks like his name, this is the guy. Sandstorm. Look at his colours. Look at his alternate mode. You know, you've got a dune buggy. It's just brilliant. You can see how hot it is at the moment, that the rub sign I've not even touched, and there it is already working. If we want to look at articulation, we could have a little bit of a joke and say there is in the head. This is mainly due to transformation purposes though. There's very small bicep or elbow flexion in the joint there, and as you've seen, the legs are pretty much stable, so there's nothing else really. Now again, a lot of G1 figures didn't really have much articulation, but when you look at it, this figure is now nearly 30 years old. Well, it's 26, isn't it? And the fact that it was three different things, that's the biggest gimmick, and that's the biggest selling point still to this day for this figure. I still think that all three modes look really good, and a lot of the newer figures now, there seems to be one particular mode that does always suffer. So while we're looking at this, you can see the difference between what it looks like with good stickers and bad stickers. So they do play quite a big part. Funnily enough, I'll show you the sealed ones at the back in a second with no stickers, where they don't look any better whatsoever. Things to be aware of is corrosion in these joints and the screws, because again, it's quite easy for them to get corroded. See on them bars there. And of course you can see we've got a bit of chrome on the inside, and then there's an abundance of chrome on the back of his head, which I will show you in a second. Right now, in fact, in dune buggy mode. So this is brilliant, and to be honest, it looks great. And as I say, if you want a figure that resembles his name, this is it. Sandstorm dune buggy. There's the chrome on the back. This is the back of his head, like I pointed out. By the way, while I'm going through this, the full transformation process video will be uploaded separately for people who want to see it. So the wheels, of course, they all go around. There's good detail on them. There's chrome on them. Everything sort of tucks away quite nicely. You've got all the rotor blades underneath. And again, stickers play a huge part, especially in this mode, because again, when we look at the, in fact, let's have a look at one of them while we're here. So this is, I suppose, the first official reissues of the figures. So for those of you unaware, the gold boxes were released in 1990 and 1991 in European and Australasian countries. I think Canada as well, to be honest. This is the English version, so you can see there inside with 0 stickers on it just looks really bland. This, I mean, when I say this is the English version, you'll see this is because it's all in English writing. And I know that's stating the obvious, but when I show you the other one in a second, you'll see why. So we've got the fact there, it's just showing the 2 modes. We've got the transformation process there on the back. And unfortunately with these, the battle scenes on the back were quite boring. As you can see, this again is just an advert of all the reissues that came out at the time. So all of these figures you can see here are available in gold boxes. There is his tech spec and write-up. And I suppose while we're here, I might as well show you the other one, just so you'll see what I mean about it making sense with the language being in English. We will have a look at this box in a second. This one is also sealed, but this is the Spanish version. So as you can see, we've got Spanish writing, and it doesn't say triple changer, or sorry, it doesn't say classic under there. It just says triple changer at the top. And again, we've got more Spanish language, and again, you can see no stickers present at all. If we spin it to the back, we've still got exactly the same, nothing much going on there at all, in honesty. But again, these came out very, very early 90s. And again, I suppose they're known as the first official reissues of the figures. Right, we've looked at Dune buggy mode, which again I think is fantastic. It's up to you how you want the propeller, up, down, up like that. It's entirely up to you. Lots of people display it in different ways. The one other mode to have a quick look at is, of course, the helicopter mode. And again, brilliant. Obviously be aware that these can be severely bent, missing, broken off. Same with this. Loads of things unfortunately can go wrong with these particular blades, but they do, you know, tuck away nice and snug, and they can be looked after and preserved if, yeah, looked after by an adult. But obviously this is a kid's toy, so it's quite hard to find some with good rotor blades. Everything else, as I say, is all tucked underneath, you can see. And again, stickers do play a bit of a part on this. Without these at the front and on the sides there, it just looks really, really bland. You've got the wheels underneath, but of course it needs wheels to land. It's not too bad. Same thing with the joints. This one's getting a little bit corroded, you can see inside there. So that is really all there is to be aware of, in honesty, when it comes to this particular figure. The weapon, I'll take it out of his hands, even though I'm going to show you one in a second when I unbox that. This is his only accessory, and that's all he comes with. Just a simple black gun. And obviously we've looked at the articulation. There's not too much there. Obviously for a little bit of fun, but you never know, when people are Googling and searching, this figure is also a Transformer and known as Sandstorm, but this is of course the Beast Wars variant of him. In fact, it's a newer version of the Beast Wars variant of him. And this guy, if he'd have had an official Generation 2 release, was also going to be called Sandstorm as well. So quite a popular name throughout the Transformers history. This was going to be obviously a Decepticon Seeker, and this of course I think it was going to be either a Predacon maybe. But there you go. So both same names, sorry, all three same names, all three Transformers, just different eras and times. This guy though, however, is one of the only official releases, or reissues, shall we say, not reissues, update version of the figure. This is his IDW version from the Thrilling 30 line, and again you can decide how you want to display him with these on the back. It's entirely up to you. This is still a triple changer, and as you can already tell, it is a much updated version of this particular figure. Let's take him out of the way. For the final thing then, let's look at the 1986 box. So this is the one that you're probably a bit more familiar with. However, this is the Canadian version. So because it's Canadian, we've got the dual language, the French and the English. And this was the poster box offer. So this was again around about the 86 time for a special. Unfortunately, I wish the poster was in there, but it's not. You've got the transformation process there, and again the dual language. If we spin it to the back, we've got the very, very famous and very well used 1986 battle scene. You've got your two main Titans, Metroplex and Trypticon. Again, you've got your tech spec there, and again a lot of the other figures that were of course released in 86, the same time as the movie. For those people who are looking to get complete ones mint in box, this is what your bubble should look like. This is the original bubble. I know you can get repro bubbles, but I'm asked quite a lot of the times to show the original ones. So there is the original one, and as you can clearly see, they are always packaged in the Dune buggy mode. I'm just going to show you a couple of things that came with them, just again, because I know people ask, and it can be quite interesting, to be honest. So finally, let's have a quick look at this. So the instructions, even if you've got the standard Hasbro ones, they will just be black and white with the red. Obviously that's to identify the Autobots. Anything after 80, the first booklets in 1984 all were full colour, whereas after that they just had these mix of colours, and again they fold out like so. This is the dual language still. And we've also got a brilliant mail away form. Funnily enough, if you want to see any of these pamphlets in a lot more detail, there is a full review of these on the channel under leaflets, flyers and mail away forms. And of course, what we've got here is a 1986 fold out poster with pretty much the entire toy line that was available at the time. Again, there is a full detailed video on these on the channel if you want to see it. Autobot side and Decepticon side with the checklist on the other end. Great poster, great flyer, and to be honest, great figure. As I've already mentioned, 1986 wave 3 or series 3, however you want to refer to it as, just meant that they were the third year consecutively releasing the figures, and more commonly known as, of course, the movie year, which of course is where lots of the figures did actually appear. He was obviously a lot more in the cartoons straight after the movie. Again, another great character, and hopefully we will be getting another update of him pretty soon, because the IDW version is brilliant, but of course it's based on his IDW self. I don't think there's much more to say about this, unfortunately. Now I think that's pretty much covered all bases. Again, the transformation process video for these is going to be separately uploaded. Hope you enjoyed this look and showcase of him, and let me know what you think of him in the comments, please. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe.